Hi guys, Michael Abayemi here. So today we'll be doing things a bit differently. Instead of a regular movie review, I'm going to be pitting two movies against one another. What's the point of doing that, you ask? Well, imagine you could only watch one of those two movies. Wouldn't you like to know which one is more worthy of your time and money? So in the spirit of not wasting time and money, here's how I think the host fares against She Dies Tomorrow. Let's start with their similarities, shall we? Both movies can be considered horror films, with Host being closer to a traditional supernatural horror film, while She Dies Tomorrow explores more of an existential dread than actual horror. They can also both be considered products of our time, with Host being set during the ongoing coronavirus pandemic, while She Dies Tomorrow explores our uncertainties about the future and a different type of virus altogether. And that is where the similarities end, I guess. Because ultimately, what we have here are two movies that take very different approaches to tell their stories. Host is the latest in a long line of found footage horror films. It employs the same style we saw in films like Unfriended and Searching, where the entire movie is presented in the form of screencasts of computer screens. Set entirely during a Zoom meeting, the movie finds a group of friends separated by the lockdown taking part in a seance. But what started out as a prank and some mild-mannered fun quickly spirals out of control when they unknowingly unleash a demonic entity. At 57 minutes in length, the movie is unusually short, but hardly any of that runtime is wasted, as we are introduced to the group of friends within the first couple of minutes, and the seance they have decided to perform is set up quite quickly. All the actors gave adequate performances, and the film also had some genuinely effective jump scares, as played out as its premise seemed at first. Its visual effects team also did a decent job, considering its limited scope and budget, all of which came together to sell the overall experience. She Dies Tomorrow, on the other hand, is the more unconventional of the two films. It takes a more artistic approach in the exploration of its themes. In the film, a woman named Amy wakes up with the conviction that she's going to die the next day. But after she shares her realization with her friend, that same conviction begins to spread across their town like a virus. Soon, their entire circle of friends come to believe that they were all going to die the next day, with varying ideas of how best to spend their last day alive. She Dies Tomorrow is most certainly not for everyone. The movie is at times funny, and the story is told through vivid imagery and a rousing soundtrack. But I fear that its slower pacing and artsy approach might deter most viewers from giving it a chance. But if you can look past its meandering plots, then what you find is a movie that taps into our most basic fear of dying. All that said, if you could only manage to see one of the two films, then I suggest you see Host instead, especially if you are a fan of traditional horror or found footage films specifically. The movie is short and sweet and has some of the best jump scares I encountered in a recent horror film. And that's about all I have to say about Host and She Dies Tomorrow. Both movies are definitely worth checking out, should you be able to find the time. What do you think about me using this versus format though? Would you like to see me pit other movies against one another in the future? Then be sure to like this video and let me know in the comment section down below. And until next time, this is Michael signing off.